Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to a very special extra interview of Final Cut. Today, I'm joined by an actress who is also a writer. She's soon to be seen in the Christmas Chronicles 2, starring Hollywood's newest golden couple, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you actress and writer Christy St John.
Thank you so much for having me, Dean. Excited to connect in an era of social distancing.
Yep, and I'm deeply honored to have you on here. So, firstly, how are you?
I'm good. Surprisingly busy with auditions right now, seeing as Hollywood is still in many ways shut down. Thank you for rescheduling, by the way. My audition last week went really well. Very weird.
Very weird,
but very well.
That's all we need to. That's all we care about. And it went well. So, how did you get started out in acting?
I started acting in high school, but I thought of it as a pipe dream, not an actual career. Pretty much because everyone and their mother told me not to go into acting. My mom was hoping I'd be a doctor, like she is, because I was very studious. And then I actually went into engineering to get away from acting. I studied engineering at Carnegie Mellon University, and I picked that school because they had a really good acting program and a really good engineering program. And then I was there, I started to take acting classes, and I weaseled my way in by befriending Ingrid, one of the acting teachers. And then I studied abroad my junior year of college at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. And after that, I was like, all right, when college is over, I'm going to pack up my car and drive to Los Angeles. And that's what I did.
You did, and you're still there, I'm assuming?
I am still here. Yes, I have not left LA.
So the dream is still going on?
Yeah. That's something I tell people if they ever want to move to Los Angeles, is it's not a quick fix kind of thing. You got to stay for a while if you want to really make connections and make an impact in the town.
Now, who were your influences growing up? Who inspired you that you wanted to be an actress?
I really liked action adventure movies. So probably my favorite actress growing up was Catherine Zeta-Jones, specifically in The Mask of Zorro. And I've always wanted to entertain people because Carnegie Mellon, where I went to school, is a conservatory, and they have a lot of very serious and very high concept theater. But I really like entertaining stuff. I took a Shakespeare class once, and my teacher was like, Christy, just stand there and say the words. And I was like, can I just add a little pratfall, just a little pratfall? And she said, no, it's literally Shakespeare. Stand there and say the words.
God, you sounded so English when you said that.
Does my English accent not terrible? She was English.
Well, put it this way, Alicia Silverstone's is a lot worse.
I actually have a Scottish accent as well.
Oh, really? Go on.
I do.
Go on then.
Well, I was in Scotland. I studied in Glasgow, so I don't have quite the Glaswegian accent, but I think my Scottish accent is kind of like a mix of a few Scottish accents. Like when I was there, they were like, I think you're from Scotland, but I don't know where from Scotland you are. I don't know. You tell me.
I'm not even sure. That is not a bad Scottish accent. To be fair, it's a lot better than mine. I'll say that much.
If you couldn't understand it, then it was a good Scottish accent.
So you've done a lot of short movies in your career. So what's the best thing about doing a short movie?
I get the freedom to create a role in a short film without carrying a film. Shorts are really, really good for developing characters, and I think especially for me as a new actor, it was a great way to get footage and learn how to work with directors.
Now, there is one of your short movies which interests me, and it's called We Got a Monkey's Paw.
Yes. My really good friend Zach Ogle wrote and starred in that. It's a comedy, so nothing too scary, but it is macabre based. And I loved shooting it because I play a one-off joke character called the Weeping Bride, and I only appear in a haunted mirror. And the reason I liked shooting it was because my acting teacher, Robert DeVonzo, taught me that for comedy, the deeper you go, the funnier it is. So I was actually crying on set whenever they held up the mirror and then they showed me. And my friend Zach, who's just brilliant and gave me that part, was like, the joke totally works because you're absolutely sad every time.
I saw the poster of it, and it kind of reminded me of one of those old video nasties of the 1980s that parents didn't want their kids to see, and I thought, oh, this looks quite good actually. It's quite interesting.
It's incredible to me how many horror films are based off of kind of the golden age of horror, which was the 80s. And it definitely has that vibe. I think Stranger Things is another good example of a show that does that, although they don't add as much comedy.
It's all too serious. That's what Stranger Things is. Oh yes, you also host your own TV series as well, don't you? Called Christy's Science Salon.
I did. I don't anymore.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I can only do so much. But Christy's Science Salon was a YouTube series sponsored by Rayton Solar. And I partnered with them in an effort to make a Bill Nye-esque teaching videos off different scientific topics. So I brought in my engineering background. If I'm being honest, the show was somewhat short-lived and I'm not sure it worked. But I really liked it because it was the first time I really got to play host as opposed to actor, which you tell me, but I think acting and hosting are very different skills.
Which one would you prefer?
Acting, for sure. To be nice to people? Crazy.
Oh, speaking of TV series, now there's one that you did that intrigues me. It was called Artificial. Now, for those that don't know what it is, I actually found this quite intriguing. It's an interactive TV series where the audience can influence the series. So, how did that work exactly?
So, like you said, it was an interactive sci-fi series, and it was also remotely shot. So, it was shot in the time of COVID-19, and we were all in our own spaces, so we had to shoot it basically through Skype, and I've not met any of the actors. I haven't met my director in person. And it's a choose your own adventure, but it's not a choose your own adventure game for an individual. So a lot of choose your own adventures is like there's like a storyline, and you can pick one or two different branches, but you can go back and also pick the other branch if you want to rewatch it. But this was an experience where it was a choose your own adventure collectively as an audience. So we did the show live, and then the audience would vote on polls that would influence events in the series. And so once they vote on a poll, whatever they didn't vote on, that was out. Like that didn't. We were trying to make the show have the audience be as influential as possible. So their votes, their opinions, their comments absolutely change the world, which makes it 10 times harder because not only do you have to prepare a 2-hour show, you have to prepare a 2-hour show that might go one of 10 different directions.
Yeah. Is that the most difficult thing about it, knowing that it could go like 10 or 20 different ways and you'd have to like remember every single line for every single scenario?
There were so many lines in that show, and there were definitely times where I messed it up. So that was hard. I think actually the hardest part about it, though, was it being remotely shot. So I was everything. I was wardrobe. I was lighting. I was set deck. I was...
you were literally everything.
I was literally everything, yeah. And so that became... Because if you think about it, in a way, the choose your own adventure and the live aspect felt very much like live theater. Like in the same way that stand-up, you might do the same set over and over again, but you have to tweak it to the audience. And like, so that once I did it a couple times, I was like, oh, this isn't as scary as I thought it would be.
Just difficult.
Well, and it's also very, as an actor, giving the audience the ability to continually comment while you're acting. That is scary. And I know some of the actors were like, I do not read the chat. I cannot read the chat. Because of course there would be people who would say, these actors are terrible. I hate them. But I loved reading the chat because I thought that our audience was great. And sure, there were people who were jerks, as there are on the internet.
There always are. It's all being human. I would that's it.
If you put content out on the internet, then you should probably expect it.
I always do. Although I don't really think I've had any bad comments yet, so that's actually a good thing for me.
I have generally positive comments as well, even on my social media. I mean, I also get, some amazing dick pics, so that's always a
I don't want to go into them.
I mean, no one does, Dean. No one does.
Right, so what I was going to say, it basically sounds like, I don't know if you remember this or not, but DC did a vote in the 1990s where Jason Todd was the second Robin at the time, and DC Comics said to its readers, right, do you want Jason Todd to die or do you want him to live? It's kind of sounds like it's basically it basically just is that for however long it is and for however many times it's needed.
Yeah. And the thing that we tried to do, which is very similar to that poll on Artificial, is make the options equally strong. So we wanted every poll to kind of be 50-50. We didn't
choices,
want like...
Yeah, we wanted the choices to be more difficult than they actually should be.
Yes. And
that's
so
how
you
I
could
would do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that was important to, and the whole team, the director, the actors, and everyone behind the scenes, we wanted the audience to know that their opinion mattered and they changed the story. And every once in a while, someone would comment and be like, this isn't live, or you're not actually doing anything hard. And I'm like, who are you? Yes, this is hard. Now leave. I'm just kidding. Stay, but be nice.
I'll let you finish your drink first. Like I said, you're also a writer as well, and you recently wrote your first short. So were you excited, or were you nervous, or were you nervously excited?
Nervously excited. Of those three options, nervously excited for sure. I'm always a roller coaster of emotions.
I'm not too far behind you in that, sister.
But yeah, I wrote, it's called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. We've got into 8 different festivals, and very exciting for me in the Portland Comedy Film Festival. I was also nominated as a finalist for Best Actress. So that felt very successful. I did not. I did not win. I was a finalist, and I got a very, very nice PDF.
Fair enough. So the reason this is happening is because I was going to say next month, but that it's actually this month because it's November, and I still think we're in October. So pardon me for that.
Right.
But you are in the Christmas Chronicles too, with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, along with everyone's favorite beta male, Tyrese Gibson. So, what is Christmas Chronicles 2 about, and who do you play in it?
Favorite beta male, Tyrese Gibson. Oh, that's hilarious.
It is actually from Fast 7 when Ramsey goes over basically who everyone is. And
is that what it's from?
Yeah, and she basically says that Tyrese is a joke, and he goes, wrong. He's like, what was it he says? I think it's something like, he does actually try and make out that he's the alpha male when it's actually Vin Diesel. It's just, you know what Roman Pierce is like. He's always like making the best out of a very bad situation in this case. So that's why I called him that.
That's really funny.
I said that as well, and then he'll hopefully come on, and I'll have a very nice and complicated interview with him.
And the whole time you're gonna be like, does he know? And he's not gonna let on in the very end.
Yeah,
he's gonna crush your soul like the alpha he is.
He'll try. He will try.
Let him try. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Christmas Chronicles 2, it's about 2 kids who are forced together as siblings because of their parents' new relationship. So they're each getting a new step parent. But they run away to the North Pole, where a revenge-seeking elf is plotting to cancel Christmas. And they must save it.
No.
I know.
Canceling Christmas.
I know. It's insane that the plot of a Christmas movie would have that in it.
That's not predictable at all.
Not predictable at all. And I play Susie, which, if you've seen the first Christmas Chronicles, Teddy's new girlfriend in this one. And I was really excited to get cast because I actually got flown to Mexico, randomly enough, to a beach resort to shoot this Christmas movie.
I'm sorry, did you just say you got flown to Mexico to shoot?
I got flown to Mexico for a week. This beautiful resort to shoot a Christmas movie. Yeah. I can't give too much away, but they start in Mexico and then they head to the North Pole, and then and we'll see what happens after that, because maybe Christmas gets canceled.
Never I heard a Christmas movie start in Mexico and end up in the Pole. That's kind of like the most randomest location to go from. And
hey man, 2020 is a year of randomness. Like, what is actually happening?
Right. So, most important question. I've been a fan of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. Well, I'm 37 now. I've been a fan of theirs for about 30 years. So, did you get to meet them on set?
I did not get to meet them on set.
No.
I know. They were in the North Pole the whole time, which was they shot it up in Toronto on a soundstage. And I went to Mexico instead, which, I'm not sad about. I will say I got to meet obviously Chris Columbus, the director, and he directed Home Alone and he directed the first 2 Harry Potter movies. And meeting him was fun because I met him and was immediately like, oh, I get it. Like in the sense that like I understand why he keeps directing kids movies. Like he's kind of like an adult kid. Like he's got to be like in his 50s, but he like wears Hawaiian shirts all the time. He's kind of short and like just has like this energy, this childlike energy and wonder that I'm like, of course you connect with kids. That makes total sense to me. And I met him and was like, okay, I get it. This is awesome.
I'm guessing you didn't see Tyrese as well.
No, Tyrese was there.
Oh, was he? Did you see him?
Yeah, I got to meet him. Yeah. He's a hustler. Oh man, he's one of those guys who's doing everything. I mean, he's a rapper, he's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's an author, he's an actor, he's a model, he's also a smooth
operator.
He's for sure a smooth operator. Oh yeah. Yeah. We had a long conversation in which he told me how to get famous, which I was very excited about.
Oh, bless. Did he give you, I'll say, what advice, if you don't mind me asking, what advice did he give you?
He gave me the advice of like, you got to do everything. You got to be open to every experience. And that's what I remember about him is like, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You do this. And he had an entourage. It's funny that you say beta male because I'm like, I did not get that impression on set.
It's because he's not on a Fast and Furious set. That's what it is.
And yeah, maybe that's true. Yeah. On the kids' Christmas movies, he did not seem like a beta male, but on the Fast and Furious movies, maybe he did.
Right, so regarding Christmas Chronicles 2, do we have a rough release date? Will it be out this month or will it be...
November 25th, yeah.
Oh, a month exactly before Christmas.
A month, yes, exactly.
Which is also my lady's birthday as well.
Oh, is it? Well, happy early birthday to her. What are you going to do for her birthday? Watch the Christmas Chronicles 2, obviously.
Probably that, because we'll be in lockdown by then if the powers that be have it. So right. If I can find it, we'll watch that over dinner. So right, so
we'll get her something shiny too.
I will. I've got plenty. So all right then. Here's a bit of a quiz for you. Pitch this movie to the ladies and gentlemen. You've actually just said Chris Columbus has directed it. All right. So why should we watch this movie over Home Alone and let's just say the Santa Claus?
Well, first of all, I'm never going to tell you not to watch Home Alone and the Santa Claus because in some ways, Christmas movies are about nostalgia. But I will say some fun facts. The Christmas Chronicles 2 is actually the biggest budget movie that Netflix has ever made. So you're in for some amazing wardrobes, some amazing special effects, some amazing sets. The North Pole location was actually created by the same set designer who made Diagon Alley. So if you see the trailer and you can kind of get that feel. So if you're looking for some magic this Christmas, definitely check out Christmas Chronicles 2.
Make sure you save it in your Netflix list as well. Because it will get to the bottom the day after it's been released. So, don't need to do that anymore. So, with everything being done, there was a little section about Halloween, but Halloween was last week, which was when we were supposed to have it. So,
yes, I went as Princess Leia.
Oh, did you?
I did.
You got a picture of it?
I do have a picture of it. Yeah. I'll send it to you. You can also check it out on my Instagram at Christy_St John. Did you like that plug?
I did actually, yeah. I was actually going to ask you about social later on, but you've saved me a bit of a job anyway.
Don't worry, I'll say it again later.
All right then. So this next part is just a little section. I like your insight into. I basically ask everyone I interview it. So you've probably been through the time like I have where you feel that you're getting nowhere with your career, no matter what it is you're doing. So if somebody came to you and said, I feel like I'm giving up on this, what would you say to them?
If someone needed advice, like another actor, I actually teach a business of acting class, so I have a lot of advice, but I'll boil it down to my top 3.
Okay.
Number 1, find an acting teacher you trust and get in his or her class. Number 2, be your own best agent, which is surprisingly easy to do in this age of technology. There's lots of websites that you can submit yourself for auditions on. And number 3, and I think this one's most importantly, is it's a marathon, not a sprint. People expect to move to Los Angeles and, be famous in a year, and that's not how it works. You have to show up, do the work day in, day out. And then it's true what they say. It takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
If it means anything, it's took me, I'll say about 2 or 3 years just for me to get some decent interviews under my belt. So
yeah,
I thoroughly say that I would take her advice with a very, 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 very big thumbs up and not with salt in it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, right. Obviously, we are in a pandemic and cinemas are being hit hard. And obviously, movies are being moved. I mean, Wonder Woman's supposed to be scheduled in for Christmas. Dine Over Day's been moved about 5 times.
Yeah.
This time to next year. So I suppose the question is the future streaming, or will cinemas, do you think, still be warranted when everything's over and done with?
I don't think that theaters are going to be completely replaced. There's something magical about experiencing a movie with an audience. I've been itching to get back into a theater myself.
If it means anything, I went to see Tenet in August.
Yeah?
It was all right, but I must admit, I kind of have missed it. But the only problem is with everything as it is, it's just kind of a bit hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you say, is streaming the future, my first instinct is, of course, streaming's the future.
But it won't compensate for if cinemas eventually do get shut.
I think it might overtake it, but I don't think cinemas are ever going to be completely gone. Not in our lifetime, at least. Maybe our grandchildren won't have time to go and sit in a different seat than the one they have in their own house.
It's actually quite funny you say that, because a lot of people I interview are actually in the same mindset as you are.
Yeah? How so?
They basically think that cinemas still have a place and that they will not go obsolete. There is the odd one or two who think that streaming is the future and cinemas will soon go the way of the dinosaur, but the number's not really that high anyway.
Yeah. What's your opinion on it?
I'm much in the same boat as you are. I don't think it will go, but I think streaming will eventually get to the point where cinemas are no longer viable, regardless of what it is, and you'll be able to buy like home cinema sets. Home cinema kits where you can have IMAX in it.
Well, let me say this: I had my first kiss at a movie theater, and you can't do that when your parents are home,
Oh yeah, she's got us there. Is that your cinema? Say, go and have your first kiss on the back.
Go and have your first kiss. Movies are for making out, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Save AMC 2020. Sponsored by Christy St John.
All right, then let's move away from acting, writing, and everything else. What are you passionate about as a person? What hobbies do you have, and what interests do you have?
I am a web developer on the side, so I build websites for people.
You're a woman of many talents, aren't you?
I try to be a Renaissance woman. So I am very passionate about that, and I studied engineering at Carnegie Mellon, so I loved calculus when I was in high school. That was my favorite subject.
All right. Have you ever done the old I'm an engineer, not like they used to do in Star Trek when Bones McCoy used to say, I'm a doctor, not an engineer. Have you ever done anything like that? Like, I'm an engineer, not a catering assistant or anything like that?
A dream role would be to play like a female version of Scotty in Star Trek. Although I'm sure the Scots would again be furious that if I got cast as
But you
someone
do
to
have a
play it.
Scottish accent, and it's not the worst Scottish accent I've ever seen.
It's not the worst Scottish accent, and the guy who plays him right now, who I can't think of his name, but I'm sure
Simon
you
Pegg.
can, is not Simon Pegg, is also not Scottish. So
He's English.
he's English. So it's possible. I doubt it. I very much doubt it.
You never know.
It's definitely been, I will say the engineering thing has been nice whenever someone's been like, what's your backup plan?
You just say engineering.
I just say, I have an engineering degree from Carnegie Mellon University. It's a top 10 school in the United States. And they're like, okay.
Don't believe you then.
Not many people believe me. I have a very innocent, cherubic face. And even when I was studying engineering, people didn't believe me. And even when I got top of my class in engineering, people didn't believe me.
All right, so obviously I believe you because you are literally saying it to me and you wouldn't make it up. What do you say?
Why would I lie?
Say you are not an engineer. What do you say then?
Nobody will say to my face that I'm not an engineer. People will say I don't look like an engineer. And I get it. I'm not blind.
I am one.
In some ways, I wish I looked more like an engineer only because I think smart roles are way more fun.
They are.
Like, I think that everything that Benedict Cumberbatch gets to play is fantastic because he has that look of someone who just knows what he's talking about. He plays a neurosurgeon. And you're like, yeah, that guy's a neurosurgeon, of course.
He just ingratiates himself into his roles quite quickly, doesn't he? And quite methodically. Yeah.
And he plays high intelligence, and I like that because I can go both ways. I feel like I play a scientist and then I play like a super ditz, both of which I've played in the past year.
I'm going to say ditzy blonde because my lady's blonde, but you know what I mean.
I have an idea, yes.
Yeah. So, what would you say are your career highlights?
I would say, well, the nice thing about my career is I feel like it's been a very inclined slope, but this year for sure, it's been artificial. It's been Christmas Chronicles 2, which we've talked about. And then In the Cut is a sitcom on Bounce TV. That was one of my favorite things to do because I love sitcom acting. Ooh. I think there's something mathematical about it. Like, I think that's why my brain likes it because sitcom timing is very methodical and precise.
Timing has to be perfect in sitcoms. Same as comedy. The timing has to be there.
Exactly.
Just like the jokes have to be like not so much insulting. I know a lot of some comedians do tend to be a little more insulting than others, but it's just the timing and the way everyone speaks. That's how it is. Right. So obviously we've heard your projects that you've done. Have you got any projects coming up?
I do. Well, first of all, there's a possible another season of Artificial that's going to happen in 2021. And I'm not saying that that's absolutely going to happen or not. I'm shooting a feature film in December, which I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about yet. So I won't say the name, but I'm really excited, but also terrified to see what the COVID-19 restrictions are going to be. And I know a lot of people are having to get tested multiple times a week. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I was going to say, all you have to say is you've got something coming up. You don't have to divulge information. You don't have to. Or if you're not.
I have things coming up, damn it. Got it. And then I'm trying to stream more on Twitch as well, which is going slowly but surely. Do you watch Twitch at all?
Not usually. I tend to watch more YouTube than anything, but I know I would say Twitch is the future and YouTube sort of not.
Yeah, I agree. I think YouTube is already ready. YouTube isn't going away, but it already has had, its heyday.
I think that. But yeah, I've actually got a Twitch account somewhere, but I will see about putting some stuff on there. I'll tell you whose Twitch account I would recommend. I don't know if she's still got it or not. Would be WWE superstar Selena Vega's. She does a lot of play and she twitches every night. I know Paige, WWE wrestler who actually does it, but on her own name, Soraya. She does it every night. So I might do a Twitch, say not this year, but next year, and see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
So we've got another project. So what would you like the future to hold for you? You know, good health, kids maybe, healthy career.
I would love a healthy career. I want to buy a condo. That's what I want. I want to buy property in Los Angeles. And it seems like a very lofty goal. I've been looking at a lot of 2-bedroom condos and thinking about how I could do it.
If you have a dream, you do your best to achieve it.
Yeah.
I've achieved half my dream. I'm here. The only other thing now is to actually fully
collect more Funkos.
Yep, indeed. And now the question which you've already half answered, but I shall ask it anyway. If people find you on social media, how would they go about it?
If you would like to find me on social media, check out my Instagram, Twitch, or Twitter at Christy, Christy _ St John STJOHN.
Is Christy St John on YouTube or Twitch?
Christy St John's on Twitch. Christy St John is on YouTube. I love talking about Christy St John in the third person.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So, I must admit, I haven't done this for a while, and I actually look forward to all these quizzes. So, are you ready to take my Las Vegas quiz?
I'm ready to roll the dice.
Which is basically, whatever you say will stay in this conversation. It will stay in this interview. It will not go any further beyond me. The only way it will go beyond is if anyone actually listens to it and they basically want to do something. But I am begging everyone just to leave it as it is.
Got it. So everyone, please leave now. Mom, if you've made it this far, stop listening.
All right. What role have you done that has scared you?
I was a sideline reporter for the Clash Royale League, which meant that I interviewed top players in the mobile game Clash Royale. And I absolutely faked my way into it. I had never played the game before the audition. And I was interviewing gamers who, if you know anything about gamers, they're not the most open and engaging people. So I was asking questions that I made up to people who weren't good at interviews in a very awkward situation. And it was terrifying.
Who was it more terrifying for?
I remember my first interview I gave. It was with a player called Aw Crap. That was his screen name. And I turned to him and I was like, "Are you nervous?" And he's like, "No, I'm okay." And he was like, "Are you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm really nervous." And then he started to I could see him start sweating on his face. And I was like, "Oh no, I've messed up. I can tell."
That's what I was like on my very first podcast. I was absolutely nervous as hell. I was sweating buckets. To be fair,
it's hard to interview.
It is. But I must admit, I have got better. I still kind of do get a little bit nervous before I go live every time. But
sure,
it's not a case of it's anything that really bothers me anymore. But if anyone is listening and does actually want to do their own podcast, once you get your first one, it's like riding a bike. Once you get the first bit out of the way, you never forget it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and you have very much prepared well.
I
feel like that was my problem, is I didn't know how to prepare because I didn't know what questions to ask because it was about this game that I knew nothing about. And that's how you mitigate nerves when you're interviewing, is do your homework.
I actually worry more about what the person I'm interviewing is going to say, whether I've actually done it right, or if I've done it a bit wrong and we're going to turn around and say something that I really don't want them to say and make me even more nervous.
Wait, so do you have an example of when that's happened?
To be honest with you, I haven't really got an example, but it's like every single question I ask, if I'm sort of like, I don't know how we're going to respond to this. They say the questions are all right, but it's always a case of they're saying that, but are they really happy with them?
Sure. Well, and I learned too, as someone who gets interviewed, most people go into interviews not really preparing or knowing what to expect. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I always let everyone know that I don't. Everyone who is listening or has listened to my interview since I first started, they know I don't go into the personal stuff because I don't like personal stuff. So why would I ask a question about something personally when I don't even like it? That would make me like the ultimate contradiction, which I don't want to be. Yeah. All right, so tell me something you've never told anyone else about your time on a movie set.
Oof.
It doesn't have to be major. It can be like a little thing if you like.
I like having, well, this is personal. You're like, I don't ask personal questions, and I'm like, ooh. I like having romantic scenes because then I feel like I get to go and like fall in love for a day or a week.
Aw.
And then kind of leave, and like it's like I get the honeymoon period, and then I'm like, and then if they ask me out at the end, I'm like, no, let's keep it to what it was.
Let's just keep it as it was. Let's keep it.
Yes, it was perfect for the camera. Let's not ruin it by like pretending in real life.
What a heartbreaker you are, my darling.
I am sorry. That sounds such like a heartbreaker. Oh my god, hearing it out loud is a lot worse than what I thought it would be when I thought it in my head.
All right, then. Who was your first celebrity crush? And just to make things even and fair, I will tell you who mine was.
Okay.
Well, I had many a crush.
Was it Jennifer Aniston? I feel like so many guys, their first celebrity crush was Jennifer Aniston.
This might actually surprise you, but she was actually a crush of mine, but she was not one of my first, not one of my major ones. My really, really major first one was Rachel Stevens, who was in a band called S Club 7.
Okay.
You've never seen her, have you?
I have not. I'm sorry, but I'm sure she's so lovely.
Honestly, back then I was 16. She was absolute gorgeous perfection. I'd never seen anyone as lovely and as attractive as she has. And to be fair, she's aged quite graciously. She still literally looks. She still looks like she's about 20 odd. Not that she's 42.
Impressive.
It's kind of like how J-Lo looks. J-Lo's actually just gone past 50, but you wouldn't think it.
Oh no, J-Lo. If I had a girl crush, it would be J-Lo.
I have actually had a crush on J-Lo many a time, to be honest.
See, everyone has.
Who hasn't?
My first celebrity crush would probably be Daniel Radcliffe.
Really?
Harry Potter movies. Yeah, there's something.
Really?
I don't even really mean he was Harry Potter. I loved the Harry Potter books. My dad read the first couple to me when I was 10. So I feel like I grew up with them.
16-year-old. It's not so bad. It could have been the other way around, which would have been a lot worse.
Yeah, see there?
All right, then. What's the weirdest rumor you've heard about yourself?
This isn't a weird rumor. This is a gross rumor. Do you want to hear it?
I've seen the worst horror films that have ever been made, so I don't think anything you say could be even worse than them.
Okay, I went to prom with a guy who needed a date, but I didn't know.
Right.
And then a few months later, someone in the friends group, but not him, reached out asking if I had given him a blowjob on prom night.
Wow. Wow.
But apparently he told everyone at that school, which I did not go to, that I had given him a blowjob on prom night.
Oh, dear.
So that, I don't know if that's weird. It's just kind of like, that's kind of gross. But like something that a 17, 18-year-old boy would do, unfortunately.
I never did that. I was just happy to have someone to go with to prom, to be honest.
That's why I was like, dude, I did you a favor, and now you like ruined my reputation. This? Yeah. Why are you being a jerk? I thought you were a good guy. We had fun.
Yeah, well, some guys just prefer to make it all about themselves. I'll happily admit that, because I must admit I've done that quite a bit. Not recently, obviously, because I'm far more older and mature than I was.
Yes, you're very wise beyond your years, for sure.
Thank you. Do you prefer doing movies or TV?
TV.
Is it just easy?
I think it's I like getting a job for longer.
Yeah.
To be honest, and I also really like sitcom, because the nice thing about TV is I feel like you can do more quickly. Like I feel like the pace of movies is very slow. Like you shoot 2 hours over 3 months versus TV, you shoot a 30-minute episode in a week. And I like that change, and I like getting to develop a character but not having to get everything perfect. Like I've been on some sets where they do a bunch, like just like 10, 15 takes, and I'm like, and that's not even the worst of like what I've heard, but I'm just like, is that necessary? Like, do we have to, is it going to get that much better the 15th time? So TV.
I'm not really.
I don't know. It's I don't know. Depends on what director you have.
Depends if the director's any good or not.
That is also true.
True. So, would you rather play a hero or would you rather play a villain?
Villains. Oh God, villain. Are you kidding me?
I have to
Heroes, especially like the love. I get a lot of love interest, and those are always more boring. The problem is I'm not going to play a villain, not for a while. I've got this like round, innocent face that people are like, she didn't do it, and I didn't because I'm innocent.
That's the best thing. I'll tell you something. I actually did do 2 murder mysteries almost like about a decade ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was killer both times. I literally, on the first time, I nearly got found out. On the second time, I did not. No one suspected me at all. So if you've got a sweet face, then I'm just really good at being a good liar, is all I'm going to say on that subject.
I do like to play Among Us. I don't know if you started playing that game at all.
I'm not sure if it's on PlayStation or not because I'm a PlayStation man, but I do know of it. I know a lot of people play it.
Mm-hmm.
I know Zelina Vega plays it as well.
There you go. But yeah, it's a hidden identity. There are imposters among us game. And I like to play werewolf when the world wasn't shut down. Los Angeles is still very shut down right now. So
yeah, we're going to be even more shut down. It's just so everyone's aware, it's Monday at the time of doing this, and we're supposed to be going into lockdown on Thursday.
Ugh,
supposed to be, but we haven't. They say it's going to happen, but we haven't officially had an announcement yet. But we won't find that out until Wednesday at least. So there is always an upside to every decision that's made. I mean, my career really kicked off on the last load of lockdown, so I can't really complain about that.
Yeah. I've been very busy since lockdown started, so.
Two peas in different pods, but basically, story in a nutshell is we basically have done a lot in lockdown, whereas not a lot of people haven't really.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right then. What would you say has been the toughest role you've done, and what's been the toughest one you've had to prepare for?
Oh, that one that I told you about, Clash Royale League, because I was learning how to be an interviewer, which is, I think, way harder than acting, and it's different. I think that's the other thing. It was a skill that I didn't know what I didn't know about it.
All right then. Let's make it a little bit harder. If it doesn't involve Clash Royale.
If it doesn't involve Clash Royale, it would be a movie called Chompy and the Girls, which is not out yet, but we shot it through 2-3 years ago. And there were a couple reasons why it was hard. First of all, it was the first time I was the lead in a feature film, which I think... Well, and it's funny because you see these actors and they get huge paychecks, and you're like, well, they're getting so much money. And when I was the lead in a feature film, I was like, oh, I get it. Like, this is very hard. Like, it's the stress of having a whole movie right on your back is incredibly difficult, to the point where I'm like, oh, it makes sense why they would need a lot of money. It was also, or why they would get a lot of money if you're good at it. It was also all night shoots, which can really mess. Yeah, it was night shoots, and it was like we had to shoot it within like 4 weeks. So it was like 6 days off, or 6 days on, 1 day off. 14, 16-hour days. And I was in every scene. And then I made the huge mistake. My first week, on my 1 day off, I booked a commercial.
Oh, God.
And I was like, well, I got to take the commercial. And I did, but it was such a mistake because I was just dying. And that was like, okay, like if you have a shooting schedule it's crazy, you have to kind of like lock down and focus and really take care of myself. Like, make sure that I come home and do my relaxing and take a warm shower and take care of all the meditation or good food or going for a walk or whatever it is you need to do to reset. Make sure to do that.
All right, then. I'm sure you'll entirely agree that the last 12 years have become more comic book based in
definitely
franchise, yeah. So if you had a casting agent from Marvel and DC come to you and say, we want you in our movie, A, would you take either of their offers? And B, if you took both, which one would you prioritize?
That's one of my dreams. Would you take either of their offers? Casting agent comes to me. I don't have to audition. Oh my God, I would die of happiness. I would take, if I had to pick, I would take Marvel, because I really like what Marvel has done with the comedy aspect. Although I will say that Wonder Woman is my favorite superhero movie. So
I'm going to say, you've mentioned that, but are you looking forward to Wonder Woman 84 when it comes out?
I'm hugely looking for, ever since that poster came out with like all the neon colors, I was so excited about Wonder Woman 84. That was the one movie that has been, set to come out that I'm very sad that I haven't gotten to see in the past 6 months.
Yeah, that's same with me. Although I must admit, I do really want to see the new Daniel Craig's last outing as Bond, and I do want to see Fast 9, because I just want the franchise to finish as quickly as possible.
See, I am not going to see a Fast and the Furious movie. That's one where I'm like, I wouldn't have seen it. No, they're not for me. I get that. I'm not the target audience.
Did you tell Tyrese that when you saw him?
Of course I didn't. I was like, I love Fast and Furious. It's so good.
If I ever get in, I'm going to tell him that you don't like the Fast franchise.
No, because then he'll watch this interview and he's going to hear you calling him a beta male.
Yeah, but he knows he is. He knows he is.
Shots fired.
All right, then, since you obviously would like to play someone in the MCU, who would you like to play in both Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Extended Universe?
Oh, gosh. For DC, I would love, and Margot Robbie's amazing, so I don't think it's going to be done again anytime soon, to play Harley Quinn. I would love to play Harley Quinn. I almost got cast once to do her in the Comic-Con. I almost got it. Like, in the room, they told me I got it, and then they never called me again. And I was like, oh my God, I would be so good as that.
I had you down for a Catwoman, to be brutally honest.
I think Catwoman, I was going to say I was actually going to say Batwoman. But yeah, Catwoman or Batwoman, which I feel like would be really good in DC. And then for Marvel, I feel like here's the thing, for Marvel, I feel like if I actually got cast, like if they like came to me tomorrow, what I would get is like Squirrel Girl, or like this like nice Midwestern.
I think that role belongs to Anna Kendrick, I believe. But then again,
you think so? Oh yeah, that's true. She did get that.
Yeah.
But like that's more like my vibe. What I would like to do is play like the grown-up version of Wolverine's daughter, like. Like, that's what I would want. Would you like to
have some adamantium claws in your hands here?
Yes. I want to be one of the X-Men. But I feel like, see, I've got such nice hands for those claws.
You do actually have nice hands.
See there?
All right, we'll move on. Right, next question is, I'm going to give you a number of movie genres, and you have to put them into a yes or no as to whether you would do them. There are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Some of these you actually have done, I believe.
Okay. I already know what my answer is going to be, but sure, let's go through the list.
All right, so the genres, I'll go down them as I've written them down. So science fiction.
Already done it.
Drama.
Already done it.
Animation.
I would do it, but I haven't done it yet. Absolutely.
Horror, which I think you have done.
Yes, absolutely.
Action you've done, which we've already established.
Yes.
Western.
Oh, I would love to do Western. I have not done Western. Well, no, I haven't done Western.
Is that with or without the behemoth that is Clint Eastwood?
I worked with Allison Eastwood. So I am 1 degree of separation away from Clint Eastwood.
How is Allison Eastwood anyway?
She's like, how is she as a person, or how like?
Yeah. It's just that everyone knows. Obviously, everyone knows Francesca. Everyone knows Scott. Some know about Morgan, but nobody really says anything about Allison or what's his other son called? Is it Kyle? Is it? I think it's Kyle.
I don't know.
Yeah. Nobody really mentions them two. They always mention the others.
As Allison's really passionate about animal activism, and the pilot that I did with Allison was about animals, and it was a high-powered publicist does something wrong, and then she's forced to work at a dog rescue shelter with this insufferable guy who maybe they'll fall in love by the end. But yeah, if you follow Allison Eastwood's Instagram, it's all adorable little kitties and dogs that need homes. So she's very interesting because I got the feeling from her that she, you know, obviously she's Clint Eastwood's daughter, so she was born into movies and television and the Hollywood life. But yeah, you know, I think I got the impression that she wants to be on a horse ranch taking care of horses and with, you know, 20 dogs running around.
Which basically you would think that is basically Scott Eastwood, majority of Scott Eastwood's roles, really.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's interesting because, and she even talked about being in, you know, her father's films. Because it's frustrating to only you'd get like one take and then he'd be like, all right, moving on. It's like, no, we need another one. Can we just do one more just in case?
I think he's done that with Scott and Francesca as well. I think he might have done it with more.
Allison was in, oh gosh, I forget the movie now. But I think she played his daughter. Like she was getting married. But she was in one of his films, I know, at least.
Francesca was it Francesca or Scott who was in Absolute Power? It's one or the other.
I don't know.
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I'll have a look when the interview's over. Right, so where were we on this list? We said Western, didn't we?
So Western. Comedy, done it. And the comedy's probably my favorite. That's what I want to keep doing.
Romance, I'm pretty sure you've done
it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This is actually a bit of a touchy subject for me because I don't think these work 99.9% of the time, but I'll ask it anyway. Video games made into movies.
Absolutely. I was cast in one that never ended up going anywhere, and I made it to the final round of callbacks for a Star Wars video game. That would have been so cool if I got it.
Don't mind me asking, which one was it?
I don't think it went anywhere. It was called The Red something. I think it actually got, because I looked it up. I basically made it to the final round of callbacks, but I was shooting something else and I couldn't make it. And then I like looked it up like a year later and they were like, it actually got canceled.
Yeah.
So
they do cancel a lot. I mean, there's 2 Force Unleashed games, which I absolutely love, but the minute Disney bought out LucasArts, it was like, right, we don't want another one. But I still pray for the day that we do get another one, because it is literally a trilogy that George Lucas originally wanted. They've made 2. They need to make another one, but they won't make it. They never make it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Since we're on the subject of video games, are you a gamer?
I play Clash Royale League. I play Clash Royale. I'm actually good at it now. Not like I was when I was on it. And I play Among Us. And then when I was growing up, I played Roller Coaster Tycoon. That was my thing. That's why I got into engineering, is because I wanted to build roller coasters.
Are you're a PC, I'm assuming? Or are you?
I have a Mac now. I switched.
My lady has a Mac as well.
They're good. They're good. Unless you're a hardcore gamer, which I never really got into. I played League of Legends and World of Warcraft a bit, but I was never hardcore into them.
I must admit, I recently bought the two newest Doom games today. So
there you go.
Yep,
That's why you're so beat. You've spent all day.
To be fair, I've only just literally bought them and I still haven't opened them yet.
Okay.
All right, then. Since we're on the subject of video games, if you were to be cast in one, would you be open to lending your voice and likeness, depending on obviously what it is?
Oh, absolutely. I want to be covered in dots and motion captured. But see, that's what's really cool to me, because I studied engineering. And that's why I think I like film more than theater, is because it's the technical and the artistic combined, you know?
All right, then. Since we're basically this year has been, I'll call it the year of binge watching. What if you watch? Do you binge watch Amazon Prime, Netflix, Apple Plus, HBO Max, or Disney Plus?
Which one? Yes, I'm definitely all of them. I binge watched literally last night The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. I haven't binge watched, but like, of course, everyone's watching The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, and the only reason I haven't binge watched it is because it comes out once a week.
Yeah.
Apple Plus, I really like The Morning Show. I thought that was a home run. Amazon, have you seen The Boys?
I've seen both seasons.
That's probably the best superhero thing to come out this year. And HBO, I haven't binge watched HBO in a while. I mean, Game of Thrones is what I binge watched.
I can't get HBO Max over here, so I am literally in the section of like DC fans who are envious because they can't get it.
Oh, sad day. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. HBO Max actually has a deal with Sky because Sky is the ones who actually had like Game of Thrones broadcasts. So basically, anything HBO makes gets put on there. I do have Sky, but it just would be nice to have, a full HBO Max channel so I can just literally watch everything on there instead of having to wait for it and then have it go after about 30 days, never to be seen again.
Right.
Yes, I do have Disney Plus because what the ladies and gentlemen don't know is that we were actually talking about the first episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian before we actually started this. So no spoilers here, but you need to watch it.
It's a great series. You do need to watch it.
It is. I'll save that one. I'll save that next question. What's your nightmare and dream movie role?
Nightmare would be The Revenant or something that's like in Antarctica that I have to like go and live in an ice block for a year. That would be my nightmare. Like I would do it, especially if they were like, you could win an Oscar for this. Like I would do it, but I wouldn't like it.
But inside you'd be saying, why have I?
Inside I would be like, why can't we shoot, a Mexico movie? Why can't we set it in like a resort? And then the dream is the Marvel superhero, or I really want to be on a sitcom like The Big Bang Theory.
Well, mind you saying that we might do a reunion show at some point. Well, I hope we do, because there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Well, and The Big Bang Theory is its own thing. I would want my own show, but like that's kind of that. Like that. Yeah, I mean, Friends is another one that I'm like, oh man, if I could have been cast in that back in the day, that would have been.
It does amazing. Need redoing because a lot of stuff that was done back then they'd not get away with it today.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. That's
all
true.
Right then. Since you've basically wrote your own movie, this should be prime for you. So this is your dream movie. You can have 4 actors and actresses. It doesn't matter if it's 3 male, 1 female, 3 female, 1 male. Doesn't matter as long as there's 4. Your producer and director. Who would you? I'll say trust in those positions.
Well.
I'll tell you what mine is if you want.
Okay, you go.
And I do say this, and everyone who watches the podcast knows how much of a fan I am of this man. Director would be Chris Nolan and producer would be Emma Thomas because they are married. So if you get one, you get the other.
Makes sense.
I'd have to say Ryan Reynolds because he just makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
I'd say Ryan Reynolds, maybe Keanu Reeves as well.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Keanu Reeves? Come on.
Very intense. Very
Aside
intense.
from when he does an English accent and no one likes him. Now, for actresses, there is a lot that I do like. Honestly, there is a lot. I've always been a fan of Jennifer Garner.
She's very good. I like her a lot. She has a certain je ne sais quoi.
She does. She's got one of those she's got one of those personalities that's so nice you wouldn't never want anything to happen to her. And speaking of which, my other choice would be you've got Amazon Prime. Have you seen American Gods?
I have.
Then you will know about the lady I'm on about.
Wait, which one?
Shadow Moon's wife.
Oh yeah.
Emily Browning, her name is. That's, to be honest with you, that's the first role I've ever seen her be anything but lovely and nice, and you wouldn't want someone to cut her hair off her head. She's just so lovely. So yeah, that's my choice. I hope I've given you some inspiration. So
yes, okay, I'll go. Steven Spielberg, director and producer, I would say, because I like the things he produces as well.
There's nothing in there that says you can't have one of the same.
Yeah, there's a lot of director producers. I will say, Steven Spielberg, director, producer, John Williams, composer.
Of course.
Obviously. Obviously.
I myself would choose the frequent collaborator, that is Hans Zimmer.
Fair enough. Both good. I would say I would really like to be in something with The Rock and Kevin Hart. I've really liked their collaborations.
Yeah, I
CIA
think your
and
actors trump mine. Well, actually, two of mine trump Kevin Hart, but Dwayne just trumps everyone else.
Dwayne. I think Dwayne is the most famous person on Earth. Maybe Beyonce
He's the
is.
most followed famous person on it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think him and Kevin Hart. I think they're just like the dream. Anything they're in, I'm like, oh yes. And then you said 4 actors.
Yes.
I really want to work with Meryl Streep at some point, so I'll add her.
Who doesn't want to work with Meryl Streep? To be fair,
Well, because
Meryl
also
Streep
as an
is on my list as well.
oh yeah, as an actress too, I'm just like I want her career. I want to pick her brain for career longevity. Which the reason that she's got career longevity is because she's amazing in everything. You know what I mean?
She is.
Probably Chris Pine be the last one, just because I got a big crush on him. Although maybe
Totty for you to eye up.
What?
Just for a man for you to eye up on set.
Yeah. He doesn't have to say that much. He can just be there, be pretty.
All right, Ben. I'm pretty sure there's only a couple more questions left. I'm sure we've answered this, but I'll ask it anyway. Was there any TV or movies that you'd love to have done but couldn't for any particular reason? I'll give you an example. Hugh Jackman wasn't meant to be Wolverine to begin with. It was supposed to be Dougray Scott, but he had to do reshoots for Mission Impossible 2, and he couldn't do it, so Hugh Jackman got to play Wolverine instead.
I got to the final round of callbacks for the Pink Power Ranger.
As in the one
sometimes
Naomi Scott played.
Yeah, and then I just it would be a completely, my own Pink Power Ranger because the way that they do the series now. But so for the series, but I think that because I ended up dropping out because it wasn't a union production.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I can't. But sometimes because I want to play a superhero so bad, and then I remember seeing that like when I got that audition, I was like, well, the Power Rangers counts as a superhero. Like we don't think of it as a superhero in the like Marvel DC sense, obviously, but
Power Rangers were more famous before Marvel even.
Yeah, and I'm also not gonna lie, like the Power Rangers curse did kind of like get me, you know what I mean? There's a curse that says that a lot of the Power Rangers have died young. Like a lot of the actors who played Power Rangers have died young.
Some of them have, yeah. Some of them have. One in, I think the original Yellow Ranger, she died in a car crash in the 90s.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I actually interviewed Walter Jones a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, how was that?
He's still looking as young as he did. He's still a smooth operator. So basically, in a nutshell, he's not changed at all.
Smooth operator.
He literally is. Well, actually, it's funny you should say that. They are planning to make they're planning to reboot the movie and make another TV series. So it's going to be kind of like a Power Rangers cinematic universe, if you like.
Yeah.
There's still time for you.
There's still time. It's still possible. We'll see. I'm not counting anything out.
You can't. Right, last question. So, name me 10 or 20 actors or actresses that you haven't worked with yet, that you would like to work with before you retire.
Oh, man. There's so many.
I know. That's why I said 10 or 20.
I'd love to work with Harrison Ford because my mom has such a big crush on him that I feel like in her eyes.
Yeah. My mom has a crush on Clint Eastwood, so I know how you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I'm just like, I want to be like, I'm trying to be impressive to my parents. I would love to work with Jennifer Lawrence. I think we'd be friends. I'd like to work with Taylor Swift. She doesn't count as an actor, but she was in Cats, so kinda.
She was in Valentine's Day as well, so I'd say
she
counts as an actress.
So she counts as an actress. Definitely. Well, Chris Pine, we've already talked about.
Yeah. Well, you can include him if you want.
I include him. Oh, he gets on the list multiple times.
Shall we include all the Chris's while we're at it? So Evans, Hemsworth.
All the Chris's, yes. Pine, Evans, Hemsworth, and Pratt.
Yeah,
don't forget him.
I'll put them 3 on. So that's now 5, 6, 7.
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, for sure.
I do like Amy Poehler. Not so much Tina Fey, though, but I do like Amy Poehler.
I love Tina Fey. Oh, my gosh. I think she's so good. John Lithgow I read a lot of actor autobiographies, and he's my favorite actor autobiography I've ever read.
All right, that's 10.
So I'd really like to work with him.
Name any more, or is 10 your limit?
Oh, gosh. I could name Meryl Streep, Judi Dench,
11, 12,
Idris Elba,
13,
Martin Short,
14,
Jennifer Aniston,
15,
The Rock, Kevin Hart.
17,
What am I at?
17,
17?
17.
You, Dean Connolly.
Really?
Why not?
I'm honoured.
You're an actor. I'd be down to work with you.
I've acted my way through my entire life, so I might as well start.
See there?
Yeah, I might as well get paid for it now.
Yeah.
2 more
Might
then.
as well. 2 more. The Nick Jonas, because he's a Jonas brother, and why not? And I'll put Daniel Radcliffe. It's full circle on my first crush.
Can I just say one thing about the Jonas Brothers? They kind of come as 3, so you can't really name one of them. You have to have all of them.
That's not true. Because in Kingdom, Nick Jonas does a really good job playing the younger brother.
Fair enough then. I will. I did kind of
think so.
To be fair, that's how I kind of think of the Jonas Brothers. You take them as one. So you got to take all 3 as one. They come.
You got to take all 3 as one.
Yeah. So well done on naming them that quick. I think everyone else has been struggling, and I don't really get to do it that often because it just doesn't. Just never get the time to do it. So on a very memorable quiz, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you, soon to be seen in the newest Christmas movie on Netflix, Christy St John.
Yeah, the crowd goes wild. Woohoo! I'm not cheering for myself. It's not weird. Yay! Thank you so much, Dean.